what they've overcome to get to this point, and they now have something to show for it. And I thought Notre Dame had a great season, and I think Marcus does a great job, and they have a very, very good team, and had a really good game plan. That first drive went right down the field, and I thought we responded in a big way. Never flinched, and I think again, if you think about the run we've gone on here in the playoffs, a big part of the way we've responded coming off the end of the season, but then even the way the Texas game went and the way we responded early in that first quarter, and then even in the second half, just continuing fighting the momentum because Notre Dame was fighting to get it back, and we just kept swinging and got a huge stop there on fourth down on defense, got the missed field goal, kept swinging, kept playing, and I give this guy a lot of credit right here, Will Howard. I think he ran the ball 16 times in a game. We knew it was going to be that way. It was the last game we had, so we were going to let out all the bullets, and he really put the team on his back and obviously delivered a huge third down conversion, which sealed the game. But we just felt like in this game, the number one goal was to win. And that's where it started for on offense, defense, and special teams, find a way to win the game. And that's what we did here in the playoffs. And now the stories of these guys will be told because they've cemented themselves in Ohio State history, the 9th national champ and the 3rd really in the last 50 years. There's been some great teams in the last 50 some odd years at Ohio State. Great teams, great players. Only 3 have been national champs, and these guys are one of them.
We'll go ahead and start questions. We're going to start over here on our left.
This one's for Will. Coach Day talked about your rushing performance, but you're 13 of your first 13 in the game. Could you just talk about the rhythm of those first 13 throws and your rhythm throughout the game, including that big one at the end to seal the deal to Smith?
Yeah, coming into this season, I think something that Coach Day and Coach Kelly and Billy really emphasized to me was completions. Get completions, take completions. There was a couple times early where maybe I had to check it down or maybe it wasn't, perfectly how it's drawn up, but you want to, just keep the ball moving, and stay on schedule. And it may not always be pretty. You may have to go pick it up with your legs. But, I got to give all the credit to my guys, my O-line giving me time, and those guys, the receivers. We got the best receiver room in the country, and it's not even close. And the running backs did a hell of a job, man, and everybody, really stepped up when they needed it.
Okay, we're going to come over here to our left on the aisle.
Ryan, you've talked all year about the idea. Over here. You talked all year about this idea of leaving no doubt. And obviously the last 4 years haven't always been pretty for you. As you're realizing in real time that you're about to win a national championship and join some of the legends at Ohio State, what's going through your head as you kind of look back on the journey to get here?
That, God made it hard for a reason. And, you just never know what's in your path along the way. But this game can give you the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. It can take you to your knees some days as a player and as a coach. And I've been there before. And, for all those coaches or people who, are, on a journey to what they're looking to accomplish, if you're trying to achieve greatness, you're trying to become national champs in the most competitive environment there is in the entire world. There's nothing more competitive than college football, in my opinion. And it's going to be hard. And there's going to be things you'll learn along the way. But if you surround yourself with great people, you're resilient, and you believe in the guys around you, and you just keep fighting and keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you give yourself another chance. And that's really what it was. And you think, back we're in the stadium last time, and, I couldn't quite come to grips for a while with, why we just didn't quite finish that game against Georgia. But I understand now. It all makes sense. And here we are, and I couldn't feel better.
Come over here to our right.
Chrissy Freud, USA Today. Will, you play lights out down the stretch. How do you stay mentally steady as a quarterback through that? That's so important to the position. And then, Ryan, what have you seen from Will and his development at Ohio State since he came over from Kansas State?
Speaking to that, I feel like, it can be a lot. The lights are bright. It's a spectacle, and the TV timeouts are like 4 minutes long, and it feels like everything's kind of a show a little bit, but you have to block all that out. We talked about that all week. Eliminate all the distractions. Don't listen to any of the outside noise. Just finish the job. And, when you get into big games like this, whoever is able to, have the poise and the noise and be able to, overcome adversity, because it wasn't always pretty today. It wasn't always perfect, and it's never going to be. But I think the team that we have and the leadership that we have with Coach Day, I mean, with just the resilience that this team has shown all year, I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and it started with me when I first met Will. I just saw something in him, a football IQ, intelligence. I saw him play, on film at Kansas State and win championships and win big games and be able to make an impact with his feet, but also, throw with accuracy and anticipate throws. And those are things that, are hard to find. And then you see a guy, you meet him, and is just football IQ and maturity is what kind of captured me. And, I had a feeling that we would be in a situation like this where we needed his feet to go win a game, and it's exactly what happened in this game. But what I didn't know was how special his leadership is and his resilience and his positive mindset. It's something I learned a lot about. I learned from these guys all the time. I've learned a lot from Cody Simon since he's been here, and I've learned a lot from this guy in 1 year. I've told stories about some different times in practice when he has such a positive mindset around the players. And we decided to go in the huddle this year for the first time since I've been at Ohio State, because we knew the season was going to be long and we wanted to be fresh. And I felt like we were fresh in the playoffs, and I think that had a big part to do with it. But what we didn't understand along the way was the impact that he was going to have, and the offensive line was going to come together, and the offense was going to come together because there's 11 guys in a huddle breaking the huddle together. Like even in walkthroughs, when we break the huddle together, it was just a crispness to it that they were together on that I think made the difference to these guys on offense. But I also just want to make sure that we recognize how hard the defense played in this game and how great they've been throughout the season. And this guy's one of the great leaders that I've been around, Cody Simon. And I think Jim Knowles and our defensive staff deserve a tremendous amount of credit, not only for the game plan that they put together, but also just throughout the season, just how they've taught technique, how they built confidence in our defense, because they've been lights out through the entire playoffs.
Stay over here on our right-hand side.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch. For Ryan, but also the players, ever since Denzel Burke said in March, natty or bust, and you guys embraced that. The pressure on you guys has been immense, especially after the Michigan loss. How did you handle that, get through it? Did that galvanize you? And Ryan, what does it mean to win a national championship? And if I could ask you, why'd you make the play call, the call for Jeremiah on the last one?
You guys can talk about, what it's been like this season. Go ahead. You guys can hit that, and I'll follow up.
Yeah, no, when we went into the season, we knew that we had a lot of chips in the pot, and we had the expectations were really high. But I think the biggest thing that came down to this season was just the every day, just stacking each day one on top of the other. I think you guys heard about like the foundation and how we're building bricks every single practice. I think that was probably one of the biggest things that really brought together this team to get to this level, because, you go through camp, you go through the season, and, each day it kind of molds together, but you can look back and you see the foundation you've been building. And I mean, we knew that the end goal was to win this game. And, we knew that our foundation was meant to survive for this game. And so, I just appreciate that all the guys were up for the challenge, and then we all stuck together, because there was times where we could have really frayed apart. And but I'm so proud of all the guys on our team.
Yeah, and I think that this playoff system allowed our team to learn and grow and build. And you can say whatever you want about people talk a lot about how much money guys were making in NIL and different things like that. Like that was just because NIL was available. And the majority of our team came back. These guys have been here for a long time. Certainly, Will was a huge addition. Caleb was a huge addition. Don't get me wrong, but when you hear that number, like, that doesn't mean a whole lot, other than the fact that the market value for our guys in Columbus and Ohio State is pretty high. That's really what it means. And so when that got tagged on us early, yeah, there was a lot of pressure put on our players, and but that's nothing new at Ohio State. I think the difference is that we finished the season the right way, and we grew, we built, and we responded to tough times. And man, isn't that what life's all about? And these guys learned a bunch of life lessons, but they're going to go down in Ohio State history as some of one of the greatest teams to ever play at Ohio State. After all the things that have been said throughout the year, these guys are going to be cemented as one of the best stories in Ohio State history and one of the best football teams ever. Only 9 teams have ever done it, and 3 in the over 50 years. These guys right here. And there was a point where not a lot of people had that vision, but these guys did, and they saw it through. And Ohio State may not be for everybody, but it's for these guys, and I'm really proud of them.
Okay.
Jeremiah play? Yeah. I wanted to call it sooner, but the guys were talking to me about running the clock down, which I was good with because it was the right thing to do. I think there was a point there where we mismanaged it a little bit and we snapped it a little bit too soon.
That was on me.
No, it wasn't. We could have communicated it better to Will. We should have snapped that at like 2 seconds, but we did not communicate that well to Will coming out of the huddle. So that's on us. That's on the coaches. So I was upset about that. But I thought overall the game was called tremendously. I thought the game plan was excellent. I thought the guys handled it really well. But we felt like we had an advantage with Jeremiah on that shot. And, you know, we talked about it all week. We really hadn't thrown one all game. And it was like, you know what, game on a line, you know, let's go. Let's just be aggressive. And I just thought to myself, you know, you only get one national championship. You only get one opportunity, you know, a year to do this. Let's just lay it on the line and put it out there and be aggressive. And that's what we did. And I walked into the defensive guys and I talked to the offensive guys that we were going to continue to be aggressive throughout the game. And I told the team that leading up to the game, and I had to make sure I followed through with that. But ultimately, we got to make the plays. The protection was excellent by the offensive line, and then the throw and catch by Jeremiah and Will was special. And again, a huge play in Ohio State history.
Come over here.
Ryan, you guys are the first team ever to go through a system like this, win 4 games at the FBS level to win a national championship. Having gone through it now, can you describe how that similar or different to how you had it like 2 years ago, you know, making the semifinals? And in some ways, did it give you guys a chance to hit reset and figure out some things about your team that maybe you hadn't during the regular season?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that it was a reset. Like, it wasn't like, you know, at the end of the year we were broken. It wasn't that way. We had an awful day. I don't know how else to describe it. We had an awful day, and we just said that we could never do that again. And you know, I think it's the job of the head coach to take the responsibility when something goes bad like that. But then on days like this, make sure that everyone understands it's the Warriors and guys on the field that deserve all the credit, not the coach. The coach gets too much attention sometimes, and I want to make sure that these guys are the ones that are getting the attention. But in terms of the playoffs, yeah, it's a very, very different. It's extremely different than what we've gone through in the past. This is much more like the NFL. You know, guys are not in class, but our team has come together so well over the last month and a half. You know, there really isn't any school, and all we do is spend time together. It's like being around a family, and this is the tightest group of guys I've ever been around before. And to think that we're not going to be together again is not something that you know, I'm looking forward to. I'm going to miss these guys. They're great people.
Going to come over here on our left-hand side in the back.
Hey, Will, Gunter Schroeder with USA Today. Talking with Coach Milano at Downingtown West this week, he said you're no stranger to adversity, and he highlighted to me a meeting he had with you and your mom ahead of your junior season at Kansas State, where you said you just wanted to be given a chance to compete. And when you think about all that's happened in your career since then, you know, what's the overarching emotion looking back on the crazy path your career's taken?
Yeah, man, it's crazy to look back at all the things that, you know, have happened in my career. You know, going from really playing as a freshman at Kansas State, not really knowing what I'm doing out there, and, you know, going into my junior year, kind of lost, not really thinking I'd be playing, and then ended up winning a Big 10 or a Big 12 championship. Sorry, I'm all Big 10 now, but you know, that you know, all that I just had to trust in the Lord, man, and trust that, you know, that He had a plan for me, and that all the adversity that we were going through, all the tough times that I went through, you know, Coach Milano is a great man, and, you know, between all the people back home in Downingtown and my family, and then, you know, my family at Kansas State and my family here at Ohio State, I leaned on a lot of people. You know, I wouldn't have been able to get through some of the stuff that I had to go through myself. You know, I got to give all the credit to the Lord and to my brothers, man, because you know, I wouldn't be here without them, and I'm just so thankful that I got the chance to come here and to be a Buckeye, and that Coach Day believed in me, and that these guys believed in me, man. I'm blessed, and man, I'm just so unbelievably thankful that I got a chance to be a Buckeye, even if it was for just 1 year.
Second row over here on our left.
Bill Bender, Sporting News. Question for Ryan and Will. First 3 drives, 3 touchdowns. Excellent play design on that first touchdown pass to Jeremiah. I mean, with Chip Kelly, there was a lot written about him and the hire. What had you guys clicking, and what does it mean to win a national championship given his career and how long he's been at it?
Yeah, I was very excited to see a big smile on his face after the game. For him to come and leave head coaching position to come work with me meant a lot because he's obviously someone who's a mentor to me and certainly would not be where I am without him. And he has just a great feel for the game, and he really helped me this year spend more time outside of the quarterback room. Certainly was involved very much with the offense, but allowed me to spread out a little bit and spend more time with the guys on defense. Again, not as much as I'd like to, but still enough to just bounce in and out. And I think it brought us all together, and I think the guys would agree and wouldn't have got that done without Chip. But I also want to just make sure that I recognize the guys on offense, the offensive staff. I think Will tell you between Brian Hartline, Justin Fry, Keenan Bailey, Billy Fessler, Carlos Lachlan. You go through all the different guys in that room. We got a great staff in there, and I thought again they came up with a great game plan. But they work at it. I mean, work their tails off at this thing, and it really showed itself, I think, in this playoffs because it's about ball. When you get into the playoffs, it's about ball. It's just it becomes almost, and this is what I feel like, almost more like the NFL. You got to wipe the slate clean, and you got to put a whole new game plan together in about 10 days, and you got to go put it on the field. And hats off to our coaches.
Yeah, I think Coach Kelly, just speaking to what he's meant to me, I mean, he's been amazing, and he's really been, a great mentor for me, on the field and off the field. I think, he's been through so much, and he's seen so much at the college level and at the NFL level. He just knows how to deal with situations, and even more than coaching me on football things, going into this game, he talked to me about how, his quarterback the last time, maybe got a little worked up going into the game, and he said, man, just be yourself, just be chill. And he was great for me in calming me down and making sure that, I just took things one play at a time, kind of let the game come to me. And like Coach Day said, I mean, everyone in that offensive staff room, I mean, I go in there and those guys are grinding every single day on the game plan, Coach Day included. And I mean, they've made some unbelievable game plans in this playoffs, and I've just been so confident going into every single game because I know that our game plan is so sound and so thought out and thorough. We really had an answer for everything they could have given us. So I mean, that's just a hats off to them.
Over here on our right-hand side on the aisle.
All right, this question is for Cody. Patrick Clemens with Buckeye Wire. The question I had after the first drive with Notre Dame, it seemed like they never were able to get settled on offense again until probably midway through the third quarter into the fourth. I was curious, what adjustments did the defense make, or what did you make to help with that?
Yeah, no, that I would say that first drive was kind of uncharacteristic of us. We expected to go out there and kind of dominate that first drive, and they had a good first 15 plays, and they were really getting getting the second and third and shorts. And when you have running quarterbacks, like especially our offense, it makes it tough to get those stops. So really, we focus on winning that first down, and when we win first down, a lot of stuff opens up, and the work from like our front seven, like the senior D line, I mean they've put in so much work. So I think we really settled in, and we were able to get the stops we needed to get the offense to a lead that we wanted. And we still had to get more stops at the end. I think I wasn't. I mean, just as a ball player, I wish we could have done better down the stretch. But just got to do what you got to do to get the win. So I'm just proud of all the guys.
Next question over here, front row to our right.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. For Cody and Will, just what you can say. Coach talked about Ohio State isn't for everybody, but it's for these guys. Why was Ohio State for you? And then, Coach, you were celebratory throughout the game, having fun with your guys. Just what you can say about what it's like to be with this specific group this season.
I think when you come to Ohio State, you guys talked about it earlier, but, the expectations are high. You can say that the pressure's high and all that stuff. But, I think CJ said it a couple of years ago, pressure's a privilege, man. And if you don't have pressure on you, then are you really doing anything meaningful? I feel like we've just embraced that all year, and we've kind of blocked out all the noise and just said, man, like, we just love each other too much, and we've embraced it. You know, we just I wanted to be a Buckeye. You know, when I came, you know, when I talked to Coach Day, when I first you know, had the opportunity to you know, have some interest in this place, man, it was pretty soon after, you know, that first conversation. I was like, man, I want to be a Buckeye, and there's something different about these guys in this place, and I'm just so blessed that I made the decision to come here, man.
Yeah. Oh, I would second that. I mean, what drew me to Ohio State was the culture. You know, you don't really know about it before you get here, but when you learn that, you know, it's all about fighting, and it's all about, you know, being the best version of yourself, and that's what you fight every day to do. I mean, that's our whole team right in a nutshell right there. I mean, every day was a grind for us, and you know, especially down this stretch when, you know, not everyone was on our side and not everyone really believed in us. I mean, all our guys just kept fighting. You know, you never wanted to give up, and you know, we've had even some of those times when we were on the goal line on defense, and you're like, you never know what can happen. You just gotta keep fighting. And I think that's a perfect example of our team.
Yeah, and I just enjoy being around these guys, and you know, I did bed check last night and talked to these guys about how much I just wanted it for these guys, and you know, once you got into the game and you got a feel for how it was going, you could just feel it, and we had confidence coming into the game. We felt like we had momentum going into the game, and man, isn't that life? You know, I shared that with these guys that, you know, there's times in life where things aren't going well. You just got to keep hanging in there. But when things are going good, go get all you can get. And that was the message going into the game. And I took that same mentality with me.
Next question right over here, second row to our left.
Hey, Ryan, Ari Wasserman with On3. I can't imagine how much pressure you might have been under in late November. And, you know, a lot was made of a lot of the things that you and your family had to go through as a result of some of that. But I was wondering if it's occurred to you as the coach now, having won the national title, that you are probably going to be standing on the field in Ohio Stadium in 30 years, and you're going to have 105,000 people cheering for you, and you know, you're just a person that now is indoctrinated into Ohio State history. And I know it just happened, but it's been kind of a crazy 6 weeks in your personal arc, and I'm wondering if that has landed for you and what that means to you.
Well, I feel like, you know, from the start of this thing, you know, we've been knocking on the door, you know, and I think about the 19 team and the 20 team and 21 team, the 22 team. You know, you keep going through these seasons, and you know, weren't that far off. But you got to find a way to break through, and you know, make it to where we are right now. And I think in today's day and age, there's just so much that goes with wins and losses, and you know, social media, and you know, people have to write articles, and you know, there's a lot of things that are said that certainly have an effect on you and your family. But you know, when you sign up for this job, that's what you sign up for, and you got to be strong enough to withstand those storms to come out the back end. And now it's an even better story. And you know, nothing's guaranteed. But I always, in the back of my mind, you know, felt that, you know, the people of Ohio and all of Buckeye Nation, you know, after going through difficult times and seeing a team and a bunch of coaches go through difficult times to achieve their goal, it would mean even more. And I hope they're all proud of what we've done.
Last question here on our left-hand side.
Ross Dillinger, Yahoo. Will, you mentioned you've gone through some tough times, and you had to lean on the Ohio State family, Kansas State family, Downington people back home. Can you take us through maybe the hardest times that you've gone through?
Yeah, man, it you know, there's been a lot. It's Downingtown, by the way. Sorry, I don't mean to, you know, a lot of people back at home get pissed about that, but the W isn't silent. But anyway, man, you know, my freshman year at K-State was tough. I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the tougher years because it was COVID. I'm living alone. I'm starting as, you know, I think I ended the season with like 8 touchdowns and like 11 picks. Like I played bad. I was playing bad football, and I didn't feel like myself, you know. And then really my junior year, you know, they recruited Adrian Martinez to be the starting quarterback, and you know, I felt like that was kind of my time to step in and be the guy. You know, and going into that year, you know, I think it was week 2 of the season. You know, I didn't play until week 6. And I think week 2 of that season, I lost my grandmother, and that was one of the tougher times of my life. We were, really, really tight. But again, I mean, I had to lean on my faith and my family, people around me, and it's hasn't been easy here either, man. I mean, we've gone through some hard times. That Oregon loss, that team up north loss, they were tough, and we had to lean on each other. And I'm just so thankful that I have a group of guys in this locker room and group of coaches and my family that I can lean on, and they can get me through all those tough times. And here we are, man. It's kind of surreal to feel like personally and as a team, all the things that we've been through this year, to come out on top feels pretty damn good.
Congratulations to all of you. And this concludes tonight's press conference.